Hi guys, welcome on our podcast. And today we're gonna talk about crying, about my crying problem. And yeah, guys, I just hope you will enjoy. So yeah, enjoy. So since I can't remember, I never liked crying. And by that I mean every time I wanted to cry, I always hold it in because I just hated crying in public. And that's because I never wanted people to let them know that they get to me. And I always thought that, like, by that, I'm showing that they get to me. And I'm like, you see, because it's like dealing with a hater. Because when you deal with a hater and the hater is, punching you, and and you show them that they get to you and that you will, for example, fall, they will win, But when you do not show them any reaction, they will continue to punch you. And I always thought that by giving them the response, by crying, I will show them that they get to me and I will lose and I will be weak. Because I always thought, and I always will think, that crying makes you weak. Because crying makes you look irrational and it shows that your emotions are the one in control. And that's why I always hated to cry, because it's like it's controlled by all the emotions I don't like about, the whole weakness. Of course, a lot of psychologists would probably disagree with me. And I know that, like, a good cry can you make, like, really release your emotions that you cannot speak about yet. And it really helps. But I like to do this in my home. I don't like to do this in public because I don't like crying in public. Because crying in public, it's really embarrassing and really uncomfortable. Because you're showing people that you're sensitive. By the way, I don't like being considered sensitive because first, like, I'm not a. If you look at me, you would never think I'm sensitive. You see, so I don't like it. But also, when you cry in public, it's just so uncomfortable because you cannot stop because people will stare at you and all these things. Plus, I always felt ugly while I always cried because I always got so red, and yeah, and all that I always got headache after, and I just don't like the experience of crying, literally. I don't know. It shows that my emotions are the one in control and that, like, I don't have control over my brain and over, myself, and that a really small thing can make me miserable. Plus, also, every time someone yells at me, every time, someone's starting raising their voice at me, I would not do anything and I will just yell back. But I don't know why I always started crying. I cannot get it together. I always cry when someone raises their voice on me, and I don't like it, and I always start crying, and that's so I don't like it because I'm the one that would talk back, and I can't because I'm starting crying out of nowhere because I don't know why I cry. There's some feeling in your throat that it literally, like, blocks you. You cannot speak, and your eyes starts getting, tears, and you cannot just get with it. You just start crying, and you're looking irrational, and that, like, you cannot get it together, and that you were just, like, immature. And someone would say that you don't have arguments and that's why you cry, because you have nothing else to say and you are powerless, and that's why you cry, to get on someone's emotions, to win. But that's not true, because I usually have arguments and I could win, but I just start crying out of nowhere, and I hate it so much. Literally, like, the crying experience is so bad. But recently, a few months ago, I started crying out of nowhere, and I cried for a whole week, literally, like, I think, no, well, like, every time, like, out of nowhere, and literally 24/7. And maybe it was the emotions that I was holding in myself, or maybe I don't know, that was so weird, and I just started crying, and then I get my shit together and I stopped, because I always, when I want to cry, I was like, get it together, it's gonna be okay, it's not such a big deal, like, get it together. But it did not help this time, and I don't know, I just hated it. So yeah, guys, that's my whole crying experience, and I don't have any like advice for you or anything like this, because I was just speaking about my problem and maybe you felt understood. So yeah, guys, thank you for listening and have a great week.